This gorgeous deep orange material is Madeira Citrine. This is a 10.645 carat piece, and I picked it up from John Frankie. Thanks, John. I recently made a video where I cut 2 gemstones with the frosted facet technique. The design I used is called hexatriangles, and it was created by Chris Mikris, and he's an awesome gem cut designer. Here's where the video is if you want to take a look at it. During that video I was experimenting on which type of frosted facets I liked better. Okay, which type of frosted facets BOPIE liked better. For one gemstone I frosted with 1200 grit diamond lap, and the other gemstone I frosted the facets with a 600 grit diamond lap. Both stones turned out awesome, but of the 2 designs we kind of liked the citrine slightly better than the amethyst gemstone. The 600 grit frosting slightly better than the 1200 grit frosting. So back at the store, when BOPIE was showing the stones to a good client, they both decided they wanted to see the citrine one frosted with 600 grit diamond, but only frosted on the bottom half or pavilion of the stone. So I'm back at it again. Here's what the 2 stones I previously cut looked like. So I'll cut this design once more, but this time I'll only frost the facets on the pavilion, or the bottom half of the stone. Let's see how it turns out. The last citrine I cut using this design was 11.1 millimeter in size and 5.85 carats in weight. Okay, I finished preforming our hexatriangle with 360 diamond grit topper, and still have a little ways to go before we've got it preformed, but we've got the shape mostly in there. There's still a chip was here that came off, and we still have the stone's going to be a little bit smaller still because this has to be closed. We've got this facet and this facet, and they're not quite touching it here, so that'll make the stone a little bit smaller. I'd say it's going to be between probably 8.5 millimeters, between 8 and 9 millimeters. We have plenty of room to bring the pavilion down, so cutting out this will be no problem. Just bring the facets down. We have plenty of room for the upper half of the stone. Another internal fracture that when I cut it, it popped out, which is what's supposed to happen, so I have to, that'll go away as I tighten up the facets with the next set of cuts using the 600 grit diamond. I'll use a topper. Internally I'm not seeing any other problems or issues. I don't see any internal inclusions in the stone, so we should have a pretty clean stone when we're done, but we'll see as we continue cutting our hexatriangle. Okay, I've finished using the 600 grit diamond on our citrine, and now I'll use the 1200, and I'll probably leave the facets that are supposed to be frosted alone for now because they're already at the 600, and then I'll have to come back and touch them up again with the 600 because when I go through the 1200 and the 3000 and polish with the other facets, it's going to cause those that are supposed to be faceted to not quite line up correctly, so I'll have to go back and touch them up. But it's coming along nicely. Still don't see any issues. I think we're okay with, don't see any inclusions inside. I finished polishing the pavilion of our hexatriangle citrine, and I frosted the facets that needed to be frosted with the 600 grit diamond. So now I'll transfer dops and work on the upper half of the stone. This time we won't frost any of the facets on the upper half of the stone. I finished preforming our hexatriangle citrine with the first a 360 topper, then a 600 topper, then a 1200. And so now I'm ready to go to a 3000 grit diamond on a bat lap. I only preformed the first 2 rows of instruction because those are the big facets. The littler facets, I didn't need to use a 360 or a 600 or even a 1200 on those. It would cut too fast and it would overcut my facets. So for those, I'll use the 3000. And if there's some very, very, very small facets. I may use the 3000 or I just may wait to polish them in, but it's coming along nicely. Finished polishing our hexa triangle. Now I'll soak it in acetone and then we'll be able to take it out of the DOP and weigh it and measure it and send it off to BOPIE. As I have shown from both this video and the previous video on frosting facets, the grit you use, 600 versus 1200, makes a dramatic impact on the final stone. And when I compare this stone with the previous citrine, where I frosted both the crown and pavilion, there's also a dramatic difference in the stone based on this change of which facets I frosted. So I will send this stone to BOPIE and let her and our client examine this stone and see which of the stones, which of the frosting techniques they like the best, or maybe they'll come up with another idea. Happy fasting, everyone.